Hi everybody, it's Gail from Gail's Bookish Things. I'm just back with an ink of the week. Let's do a little summary for last week. I had the Ackerman Bezweeden, I'm never sure how to pronounce that, in my Franklin Christoph pen. I had it in the F Sig nib, and what I had intended to do was just to see how I liked that fine. It was a fine sig, so that's stub metallic gradient, and I've liked that. Okay, it's different than what I typically write with. It was much finer, nice crisp line. It was good, but during that time I received the number 6 nib that Franklin Christoph offers, so you can switch out your nib size, and I got the broad nib. And right here, I wrote with it, and I put the same ink. Just switched out the nib and left the ink in there. The nib writes broadly, but tends to a lot of hard starts. So I was kind of disappointed because I was really looking forward to a nice, juicy, wet, broad nib. And once it's writing, it was good, but then it was bad. I don't have ink in it now, but I would do this like 3 or 4 times maybe, and then it would start writing. Or I would write, and then if I paused for just a second, sometimes restarted, there would be a hard start. So that was kind of frustrating. I contacted Franklin Christoph at the customer service, and they gave me a couple suggestions, and they said it was good that I was trying a couple different inks, and said, you can twist down the piston in there to just kind of get a little more ink in the nib. And then she said also, if you press too much, you can push the feed against the nib and experience some hard start episodes, or whatever you call that. So I've been playing around with it. Let's see, I think I put even a different ink in there after the Bezweeden. Trying to remember. Oh, I put Yamabudo in there, and that worked really pretty well, but I was just still having a little bit of the hard starting. And so then I tried to eyedropper, how do you say that? Eyedropper fill it or whatever. So I took out everything and I added the silicone grease, and I thought, if I keep my pen facing downward, then maybe when I pick it up to write, it will not have that hard start. So the funny thing is, when I took out the converter and just had it as an eyedropper fill, it was so wet. It like poured out of there, and it was not a good writing experience. So maybe a drier ink with the eyedropper fill would be good. I was just kind of frustrated with that, and I kind of just cleaned it out for now. I'm having fun. I love the feel of this pen. I love the look of it. I like the nice broad nib. But I had too many pens inked up. I keep like starting out with 2 or 3 for the week, and then I get an idea to try another, and then I start having 4 or 5, and I just don't like having that many to choose from in the fountain pens for some reason. So I went ahead and cleaned this one out, but I'm going to play around more with that broad nib. They did not offer to take a look at it. I asked her if I could send it to them, or if she had suggestions, or them, and it was a woman who responded. So I appreciate the help, and I think I just need to play with it. So we'll see how that goes. But now I have 2 nibs for my Franklin Christoph, and I kind of like that. I never knew or thought that I would even like switching out nibs, but it was kind of fun, and it's just something I need to tweak. With the Bezweeden though, it was a pleasant writing when it was flowing. I don't blame the ink. It seems to be with certain pens is the problem, the nib or the feed or something, because in the past when I've used Bezweeden, it's been a great ink. I've liked the Ackerman inks that I have tried, which aren't many, but they're deep water blue. I absolutely love. That might be one that I could try in this too. That could look really pretty. So I put that it was similar to green marine, so I would not buy it at this point, but I would consider it down the road when I run out of green marine, and just more talk of what I already spoke about. So during the week I also decided to try, do I have the pen in front of me? I don't, but I put the Takisumi, the Iroshizuku, it's a, what does that mean? Bamboo charcoal. I put that in Twisby, my gray Twisby, gray lidded Twisby, and I'm really, really liking that combination. It feels wonderful. I had one experience though where I started to write and it came out real, I don't know what the word would be, but almost, you wouldn't say it was wet or flowy, you would say it was coming out like a blob. So I put, due to blobbing, I would probably not buy the Takisumi, but it was only that one time. So I'm not sure what was going on, but I do like the feel of this ink a lot. And I am finding I kind of enjoy writing with dark colors, more typical ink colors perhaps, but not exclusively so. But that seems to be a trend I'm noticing. At first I wrote I wouldn't buy it because it had that blobbing effect from a Twisby, which again I've never had happen before. But since I really liked it, I thought, well, I would consider buying it again, and I would just need to try to figure out why that happened, and maybe you could comment below if you know why you would all of a sudden just get this like rush of ink coming out super thick. I have not encountered that with my Twisbys before. Let me see. Yeah, so it was those two inks, the Bezuidan and the Takisumi. The Takisumi I just have a sample ink vial of, and it's been a nice sampling time, I guess you could say. I've liked it a lot, even though it's another black. My Noodler's Heart of Darkness works very nicely, but the bamboo charcoal swatch from Van Ness pens looked a little bit different. Of course, when you're writing, you don't get the same effect. I think there's a little bit of slight amount of shading with this, but it's a very smooth ink. I have enjoyed it a lot. So anyway, this guy has gone away for the week, and the Takisumi I have out in the kitchen by my planner. So for week 20, I've decided, well, I was kind of thinking, what do I want to do? And I thought, I know, I'll put the Diamine Ancient Copper in a Twisby, and then I looked back through my notes a little more thoroughly, and I realized I've already done that right here on week 13. Yeah, I had it in the Twisby Eco and the Lamy Safari, both broads in order to compare how I liked the ink in two different pens. But I think this is such a pretty combination, this Ancient Copper and this clear. When it hits the light, probably not visible here, but it's just a really cool looking color. Love the flow of that. My first impression to put it back in again was, oh yes, this is so nice. I love this ink in this pen. So then I thought, well, what can I add that's a little bit new to the week? And that was to put in, I was going to put Ancient Copper in here, and I think I've tried that before. So I got out my trusty new ink, the Vinta Laguna. It's got St. John's 1605. I think there's a little bit of history. I think that's like a building. Anyway, I'll just call it Laguna because that's what they have there. But this, I took it to church today, and I wrote for Sunday school class and the worship service teaching time, and this pen performed marvelously with the Vinta Laguna in it. And that's what I've been looking for, something that works with these Kaweco pens. So many of my favorite inks haven't worked in here. They've just dried out. It would run dry after a prolonged amount of time of writing, or even within a few sentences. So this was super good. So far, as I've taken a close note of it, I like the Ackerman Deepwater Blue and this Vinta Laguna in this Kaweco Brass Sport broad nib. I'm assuming that my, well, I don't have it in front of me, but my Golden Espresso, also broad nib, would write similarly. Maybe I should put it in both to see. I did read somewhere on a YouTube comment that the nibs on these are made by different companies, different brand nibs different companies made the Kaweco nibs. And if you know anything about that, I would also appreciate your remarks. And how can you tell what nib you have? But anyway, that is such a good combination. It might just be that I need to keep Vinta Laguna in here for a consistent writing time. I may do that, just like I'm kind of keeping, I have my Leonardo in my little Lockbee Quattro case, which I'm enjoying. I just keep putting the Kujaku in this, and it's been really a great writing experience as well. But I'm kind of wanting to try another color sometime and see how this nib does with a different color. But it's such a good thing going, I don't want to switch that out. So I've been keeping that one inked up, and it's just a pleasure to write with. And I kind of have just been keeping that as a steady, as well as my Pilot Petite with Noodler's Heart of Darkness for those fine tip black writing times that I need something like that. So that's it. We will try these for the week and see how they go. They're very similar. Let me just open back up to that. If you're looking for one or two of these kind of inks, the Ancient Copper just has a little more rusty orangey, and then the Laguna just is a little more deep red. I want to say brown, but I don't even know if that is accurate. It's just almost like a dirtied deep red, and this is like copper. Copper in all its varying shades as it patinas. So I love that ink. But these kind of have a similar feel to me and look when I see them on the paper. So if you're considering either of those, I mean, I like them both, and I'm glad I have both, but I think you could try one and get a good idea of what the other one might also feel like. Somebody said they thought Ancient Copper was a drier ink. I heard that recently on YouTube. I've had pretty good luck with this, but not with other pens, so maybe that is a true thing overall, or maybe that's their experience, but the Vinta Laguna has been just a nice ink. So I like them both, but at the end of the week we can talk a little bit more about writing experience as I use them more and on different papers. This right now is just Tomoe River paper, and so far it's been great on Tomoe River. So I think that's all. I will see you next time, and I think I will be back soon with a planner update. Somebody asked me to show my new planner setup, which is not complicated. It will not be long and laborious. It's just a quick points. I already said I was switching over in another video, but somebody asked to see the setup. So I'm going to show that to offer the suggestion that planning doesn't need to be, it can be as complicated and detailed as you need and enjoy. It can also be minimal as per your needs and what's going on in your household currently. So I thought that might be worth another little chat about. Anyway, we will talk to you soon. Take care and see you next time. Bye.